I was about to make this video a week ago, but I waited for the match against Atletico Madrid of Tottenham Hotspur, and now here we are after the thrashing and the bloodbath which I was expecting, but not in a way you'd expect for Tottenham Hotspur. What has really gone wrong with this club, which at one point was playing Champions League final and was there for a title charge in Premier League in less than a decade ago? It's insane, and it's really another cautionary tale, I would say, and some bad luck as well. So here we are talking about the same match. Have three howlers from Tottenham's team, specifically from their goalkeeper. There were two big howlers, and other than that, there were also something which you may argue can be the mistake of Tottenham's player as well. That fourth goal. But other than that, again, this team, the way they were playing, it's definitely the crisis is just getting deeper and deeper for Tottenham Hotspur, and their fans just are looking at their clubs getting shattered at all. Talking about the match, there's not much to talk about, to be honest, other than that first 30 minutes where Atletico had already scored 4 goals. The match was already done. Atletico got a bit back, they got a bit laid back, though they were still attacking. And again, there was a goal. Tottenham was able to still score 2 goals, so kudos to them. But again, Atletico scored the fifth one. Again, there was a defensive mistake from Tottenham's side, and the match was sealed. There was no other efforts which Atletico had to do. They brought in the subs. Again, it was a comfortable win for Atletico. Now, given the fact that the way Tottenham literally hit themselves on their own leg, it's just concerning the way things have been in this match, and of course for this team as well. And to rub on those wounds more, Igor Tudor subbed off the keeper Antonin Kinski to replace him with Vicario at the 30th minute only. It was even before that, if I remember correctly. And it's just something which is, it can be a career-ending thing, for these players. But I really hope from the bottom of my heart that he comes back stronger. And the fact that this shows poor man management of Tudor, given the fact that he really did not even look at Kinski when he was going inside the dressing room. And the fact that this was his first match since October and his first UCL match, that too the knockout game. I mean, I would say that definitely it's a bad decision from Tudor as well. And the fact that Vicario has been an experienced one, he should be the one. You may have taken the decision for any reason, but still, it's a bad decision. Tudor, he was here to, maintain this team, to stabilize the club from the roller coaster it has been past 2 seasons, but he's not able to do his job again. And as an kind of an interim coach, I mean, it's shocking that he may also now get a sack, and it won't be surprising, to be honest, the way this team has been operating. And the main problem for all this thing which is happening is there are multiple facets of reasons for this, but one of the biggest is the atmosphere, the main, the working, the culture which is there inside the club, and of course the lack of motivation which a lot of these players have, in spite of having decent quality to at least get into the Europe positions in Premier League. They are here near the relegation zone, and it's not no joke, they are fighting for relegation now. Tottenham Hotspur, they're fighting against relegation, and who would have thought that one of the big six would be at this position? As I said, this situation is because of the fact of both a bit of unluckiness and of course not taking right decisions at right time. And the level and the what you can say is the intention which is there for the board in terms of how they approach running this club. For them, profit and sustainability matters the most. Of course, right? Sure. But where does the profitability and sustainability comes for a football club is when you play good football. That is the reason why it comes. All the other things which they get from the world-class stadium is secondary, but the primary is the football. The Spurs, the way they have managed their managers, sacking the managers at abrupt timings. You talk about Pochettino or you talk about Mourinho, and of course with the way they treat players, and of course in terms of the signings. Alongside this, the way the board sign players, they sign players who have, let's say, potential, or they're good enough to maintain the club, be afloat, rather than going for the ultimate thing which can be winning stuff and everything. The risk they take is pretty minimal for most of the part, and they focus more on creating profits. That's a lot. But this thing has came back biting to them, given the fact how they've successively. The reason why they sacked managers is not because of sporting merits for most part. It's because of other things. You talk about board, we just fall out with the board, or of course like sustainability and not, for example, Postecoglou, yes, even though he himself did not like help his own like case, given the fact Spurs finished 17th under him, but they of course won the Europa League. But the reason why he was sacked was not because of the sporting merit. The reason was because of the lack of like that revenue which Spurs would have gotten if they finish, let's say, even in the top 8. It wouldn't have been like that much difference going from 4th to 8th. But the fact that they finished and they couldn't get enough revenue, that is the reason why he got sacked. This is a vicious cycle Spurs has been regularly, and these players, the current players, the way they play, guys like Vanderman and Romero, they should be the leaders of the backline, but here they are taking red cards, giving reckless challenge, and the challenge against in the match against Atletico, for which Vanderman is pretty fortunate he didn't got any card, which should have been, according to me, a red card over that foul against that tackle against Hansko. And alongside that, like if you have got players with intent, who are they? You have got a Gallagher, like who's from Chelsea for intent, and like other than that, like Gallagher is just a professional player, so let's just get him back, right? Other players, what do you call, like, are they really playing for this club? The only player who's like gave some fight, I would say, in past 2-3 matches has been Archie Gray. And who else? Dominic Solanke, he's there. Like, the players for Spurs are just there. They know, like in the next season they are going to get there some transfers, so they're just here. They're for the sake of it. That infamous clip of Igor Tudor saying Vanderman to get back and he's just not listening, just sums up the problems which are there in this club. And if the board really needs, and if there is really something to be happened, it has to happen now. But we don't know. Let's see what happens. I still believe, though, Spurs are too big to get relegated. But this thing, which a lot of people alongside me has been saying, now more and more question marks are being added with every match day. And that's just a hell of a situation for the fans of Spurs.